Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know, from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars, topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I'm Mark. I'm here with my friend Jeff. Yes, my friend Jeff. I know you like when I say that.
You say it like it's just friend, as in like you're forced to be here.
The jury's still out, basically. But today we're going to be talking about a few different basketball topics, of course. We'll talk about the latest in the Jimmy Butler trade drama. We'll talk about NBA preseason with a focus on the rookies and how they're performing through last night's games. And we'll play a little game in the third segment where I'll try and guess the top 5 Vegas odds to win the NBA MVP this year. We'll see how I do. I'm assuming I'm not going to do very well, but I'll take a crack at it.
It's probably just picking the obvious.
Yeah, it might be, but we'll see if I can get them in order at least. And I'm just going to be happy if I can get the top 5, to be honest with you. But yeah, and then in the last segment, we'll talk about other news and notes around the NBA and anything that we find interesting. So let's get started. What's the latest on the Jimmy Butler trade?
They're asking still for ridiculous trades. Minnesota is, that is. And some people aren't really budging. And I think there's still talks of him going to Miami, which is most likely going to be his destination.
So Miami, it sounds like, has been the team to take the charge here on pursuing this trade. They sound like they're the most aggressive team. Sounds like Jimmy Butler would welcome a move to Miami. As of right now,
I think anyone would be okay with the move to Miami.
Yeah. As of right now, we've heard.
And that beep was the computer, so ignore that beep you just heard.
The latest rumor we've heard is Bam Adebayo, Josh Richardson, and a protected 2019 first-round pick for Jimmy Butler. Minnesota is also trying to attach their center Dang's contract with a Jimmy Butler trade. They're trying to really free up that $48 million that they still owe Dang. So, do you think that Minnesota is being a little bit too aggressive here in maybe trying to either attach that contract to Jimmy Butler and or asking for, like they had asked Philadelphia for Ben Simmons back? Like that was aggressive, in my opinion.
I mean, it was better to ask and get rejected, and then not ask and regret. Like, what if I asked?
Yeah, it's always, you might. What do they say? If you shoot for the stars, you might land on the moon. That's a phrase. Have you heard that?
I thought it was you shoot for the moon, you'll get hit by a star and die. I don't know what this thing is. I'd never heard of this, but sure, I'll believe it.
So write this quote down. If you shoot for the stars, you might land on the moon.
Why would you want to land on the moon if you shoot for the stars? You missed the target.
Sure, but
why would you shoot for a star? It's a burning pile. It's a star is a sun. You want to aim for a sun, burn alive. Sorry,
this is actually a good segue. Is Jimmy Butler a star?
Maybe a dying star.
I mean, he's not. His career's not dying.
No, I meant like it's bound to explode.
Okay.
As in, it could go either great
Is Jimmy
or
Butler
terrible.
a top...
As in great explosion or terrible explosion. That is to be determined.
Let's play a game. Is Jimmy Butler a top 20 NBA player?
bottom 20, so like 19, 18.
Top 15?
I still would think 19, 18. I wouldn't put him top 15.
He's in my 15, I think.
Is he like number 15 for you?
I'm not sure. He's not in my top 10. But I'd say 50. Yeah, well, it's an argument.
All right, name your 15 right now. Go.
15 better?
I don't know. Just name your top 15.
I mean, Curry, Durant, even a guy like Clay, I'd probably put higher than him. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Paul George.
Above Jimmy Butler?
I wouldn't put Cousins over him yet, or as of right now, until I see how Cousins is post-injury. But yeah, no, he's on my tip. He's on my top 10. He's on my top 10. He's probably that 15 to 20 range. So do you think that he will be a Miami Heat player before the season starts, or do you think that the Timberwolves will hold on to Jimmy Butler and wait for the best offer that they think they can get, which sounds like they think they can get a little bit more?
I don't really, just based off the drama that Jimmy Butler has caused in Minnesota, I think teams are hesitant to take him, especially with what Minnesota is asking for. Minnesota is asking for a lot here.
I agree. So he did mention some team names that he's interested in joining: Clippers, Nets, Knicks, and Heat.
High market places.
Yeah, exactly. Places that can sign other players too. So Timberwolves executives, sounds like I've told teams in the past 24 hours that none of the offers that they've received so far has met their criteria and what they believe is a good offer for Jimmy Butler's services, and that they plan on holding on to him until a deal comes their way that they feel actually meets their standards. So with that being said, how long will this last? If you had a guess, is he on the Timberwolves on opening night, which is about 2 weeks away, or is he playing for the Heat or someone else?
There's a possibility he is. I'm giving it 50-50.
Okay. Do you think the Heat, you expect him to join the Heat at this point, or do you think that there might be another team that gets in there and wins Jimmy
Do you call
Butler?
this a sweepstakes? A Jimmy Butler sweepstakes?
I mean, he's a really good player. I don't know. I don't know if he's franchise altering, but he's definitely a building block. He's definitely a guy that you want as your number 2 or number 3 best player, in my opinion, for like a championship team.
You don't see him as the bride, just a bridesmaid?
I don't see Jimmy Butler being the best player on a team that can win a championship. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, yeah.
I think he could be the second best player, but I think you'd want him to be the third best player. Kind of like how Klay Thompson might be the third best player, or Draymond Green might be the third best player for the Warriors, but they have Curry and Kevin Durant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I mean, that makes sense.
Is there a team out there that's not talked about that you think could join the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes?
No. Wait. No.
Yeah.
Wait. I got some. No, I lost it.
Do you think that the Minnesota Timberwolves will, I don't know if they'll be better off in the short term, but do you think it's good for them to get rid of him now, rather than, I don't know, let's say that everything was fine. Like, let's just say, oh, I'm kidding, I don't want to trade. Do you think that the T-Wolves at this point...
Not the players.
Yeah, it seems like it's broken, right?
The players will not welcome back. They'll be giving him the finger.
Yeah. So Jimmy Butler said that he has expressed that he has no intentions of missing regular season games if he's healthy to play, even if he's on Minnesota. So it sounds like he will play if they don't strike a deal with another team in that time before the season starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so he is coming off surgery. His right wrist was repaired. He's rehabbing, so he's not back yet, but he should be back soon. They're expecting him soon.
Baby, come back.
Are the Timberwolves a playoff team this year with or without Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
They are a playoff team?
Well, we both had them on our playoff rankings, didn't we?
I believe so, but are they in there if there's no Jimmy?
Yes, I still believe they make it to the playoffs.
Okay.
With or without Jimmy Butler.
They're like on. It's hard, being as the West is. How like last year, only 3 games separated the second or the 3rd seed from the 9th seed or whatever it was.
It was 48, and then the other team was 46.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that they'll make the playoffs. To be honest, if they lose Jimmy Butler,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no, just for the fact that I think that they would have to have everybody stay healthy. Like they would have to have a lot of things kind of bounce their way. So I'll say no on that. But of course, he's gonna make their team better regardless. It's just that relationship seems to be broken. So Miami. How good does Miami get if they trade Adebayo, Josh Richardson, and a protected 1st-round pick? Let's say that's the
a
deal.
lot. So much.
You think so?
Especially with the other guy's contract of $48 million.
Well, if that's the case, maybe it's a different trade because let's say that they're not attaching Dieng's contract to Jimmy Butler. Let's just say it's Butler for Adebayo, Josh Richardson, and a protected 1st-round pick. How do the Heat improve there? And if they do, how much do they improve? Because we both have them as a playoff team in the East.
Yeah.
They're a well-coached team. I mean, they have some pieces. It's hard to say how much he'll improve the team, but do you think that they could be in the conversation with Toronto, Boston, and those teams?
Oh yeah, I could see that could be a possibility. They could be a dark horse of type nature.
Do you think that they'd be better than the Bucks?
Possibly. I mean, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. I still think that they would be like on the outside looking in. Like I would say right now, Boston, Toronto, and Philadelphia, and then there might be a gap, and then Milwaukee, and maybe Miami. Would you agree with that? Like, is that where the gap is, or do you think the gap is actually, after Boston or Toronto?
I would say they have potential to get to that spot. It is vacant. They just have to pay the rent, talk to the landlord, and by that I mean
rent's really expensive in Miami.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So they'd pay a lot to the landlord as opposed to living in Milwaukee.
So yeah, I think the landlord is more of an advantage than anything else in this situation, which I think is Miami, because they're owning it in Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jimmy Butler, that's the latest when we look at where he'll be playing this season. Sounds like Miami.
It's either going to be Miami, or he said he won't miss regular season play either, so he might end up back in Minnesota, and who knows what's going to happen around there.
Yeah, who knows? So, for me, I got Minnesota falling out out of the playoffs if they trade Butler. You have him still in. Although Bam Adebayo could be a nice little replacement for Jimmy Butler. He's a young player. He can play a little bit of offense. He can defend. So I actually really liked him in college. Maybe he has a good career. So maybe Minnesota doesn't fall that far, adding a couple decent players to the team to replace Jimmy Butler, especially if we don't really consider Jimmy Butler a franchise-type player. So with that being said, I think we'll go to our first break here. When we get back, we will discuss the latest in NBA preseason, and we'll do some updates on the rookie class.
We'll get right on that when we return.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We are back here in our first segment. We did talk about the Jimmy Butler trade and how that trade may affect the Timberwolves and also possibly the Miami Heat, since they are the team that sounds like are the most interested or have the best odds of landing him as of today. But we did also discuss how that might change the playoff picture slightly or greatly, just depending on your outlook of that. But I'd like to look at the NBA preseason now as we see some of the results from last night, talk a little bit about how the rookies are doing. Are they adjusting well? How are they fitting in with their current teams? We'll start off with the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, they defeated Brooklyn last night 107-102. But the most notable person that I would talk about is Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox, of course, the forward from Kentucky, who a lot of people like his upside. He seems to be a player that is gaining steam as a popular Rookie of the Year candidate. He played 22 minutes last night. He had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. What's your outlook on Kevin Knox? Are you a fan of his? Do you think
he has been playing very well, but I have seen this in the past where a rookie or a player performs really well, and like Linsanity is a perfect example of this. Plays really well for one season, and then just comes up is almost erased from time.
Yeah, absolutely. The Knicks, I think they really need that dynamic player to come in, a star player to come in and play both sides of the ball and help out a guy like Porzingis, who's coming back from injury, of course, but they need somebody else. It can't just be Porzingis. Someone else needs to step in and be that guy. I don't think it's Hardaway Jr. I think he was an overpaid player, but Kevin Knox, a lot of pressure on the rookie, because I think they really need him. If they're going to make any noise whatsoever, he's going to have a season that puts him in the conversation for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he definitely has a shot to be Rookie of the Year, but with DeAndre Ayton also as a rookie, I think it's going to be very difficult for anyone to take that spot away from him.
Absolutely. Ayton is going to be the odds-on favorite, but we talked about the advantages that Kevin Knox has. He probably is playing on a little bit better of a team. Actually, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know about that. But he's in a bigger media market. He's going to be playing in more national televised games. So he has an advantage there. But Ayton has the advantage of being the number one pick, the most hyped player. And he's probably going to fill up the box score every night. So it'll be hard to top that.
Who else do they have on that team?
On the Knicks?
No, the Suns.
Devin Booker, a really good player, one of the top 20 NBA players, I would say.
Yeah, but
Trevor Ariza.
He could only have done so much last year with the team. Now he has Ayton, he's probably going to dish the ball to Ayton more than he shoots it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Suns here in just a couple of minutes, but I want to transition over to the Chicago Bulls. They lose last night to Milwaukee, 116-82. But the notable player in this game is their rookie, Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke. Were you a fan of his in college?
Somewhat. But I was more a fan of DeAndre Ayton at college.
So Wendell Carter, he played 23 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. He was 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 beyond the arc. What do you think? Do you think that Wendell Carter will be an impact player this season for the Bulls?
That team just doesn't look very good to me, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's a forward. Do you think that Jabari Parker will start over him, or do you think that they'll start Wendell Carter? Maybe not initially, but by year's end, do you see Wendell Carter starting for the Bulls?
Yeah, maybe not in the first couple of games, but I think eventually he'll get to that spot.
What upside for Wendell Carter? Of course, being coached at Duke by the successful Mike Krzyzewski, storied program that we all know. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if the Bulls can get out of the lottery. I don't think they will. I still see them as a team that's just going to struggle. They kept Zach LaVine. I do like Lauri Markkanen. I think Lauri Markkanen is going to be a good NBA player. So I wonder if there's a lineup where we'll see Markkanen and Wendell Carter play together. Maybe a smaller lineup where Markkanen might be the biggest player on the court. I don't know if he's tough enough for that. I don't know if he's physically capable of being a 5, especially in a small lineup. So it will be interesting to say the least. So let's move on. The Clippers, they had 2 first-round draft picks back-to-back this draft. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Kentucky, and of course Jerome Robinson from Boston College. Let's take a look at how they did last night. The Clippers did win 128-101. We saw
NBA championship, here they come.
They are 2-0 in preseason.
Good for them.
So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, point guard, 12 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds in 24 minutes. So he was 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 points in 24 minutes again. Pretty solid performance, I would say, for the rookie point guard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Jerome Robinson, he came off the bench in this one, 7 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 24 minutes, only 2 of 7 shooting, 1 of 2, so he struggled a bit. 7 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds isn't really filling up the box score, but yeah, let's take a look at the Clippers. They got Gallinari, Marcin Gortat, Patrick Beverley, Tobias Harris. And when you add these 2 rookies, are they a possible playoff team in the West?
To be determined.
But what would you say right now? Like, probably not. I mean, we didn't have them in our top 8. Would you put them at like the 9-10 range, or would you put them at the 11-13 range?
Give me 12.
Okay.
Put me down for 12.
Better than the Kings, I'm assuming.
Kings are last, dead last, all sorts of last, everything last. What about them?
Yeah, no.
They just had, because they had the number 2 pick. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Detroit played Oklahoma City last night. We saw the Pistons get the W over the Thunder, but of course the Thunder did not play Russell Westbrook or Paul George as they prepare for their upcoming season. OKC, with them keeping Paul George, how does that affect their status moving forward? Are they a contender, or are they still one piece away, would you say?
They might be a little more than one piece away to me, but I can see them squeezing into the playoffs every now and again, but they won't get past the first round.
Yeah. Their new backup point guard, Dennis Schroeder, he had a big game in this game. He played 27 minutes. He had 21 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds on 5 of 16 shooting. It's pretty impressive numbers from him, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would definitely say that.
Do you like that addition for OKC to have another super quick point guard? Obviously, I'm not comparing him to Russell Westbrook, but they're both up-tempo type point guards, so they keep kind of maintain the same.
I can see the relation to them, though.
Yeah, like the offense won't necessarily change all too much in terms of the speed that they play with, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get you.
I think OKC is definitely not they're not one of the top 3 or 4. I don't know. They might be in that spot actually, but it'll take a lot for them to unseat a team like Golden State. They'll probably need to make another major move.
Golden State's not going anywhere for a long, long time.
Yeah, I would say they need to make another move if they want to eclipse the Rockets and the Warriors. How about Detroit?
Do you think Durant stays with the Warriors? I know that's just going off topic, but
I think he will.
What were you going to say now? Sorry to interrupt.
Detroit. I see they're they're not a team that really is exciting to me, but they did get Blake Griffin last year. Do they make the playoffs this year in the crowded bottom of the East?
I think low seed, but yes.
So Andre Drummond.
Potential.
Andre Drummond played 34 minutes, which is a high number for a preseason game, in my opinion. He scored 31 points, 16 rebounds.
Did he come off an injury?
I'm not sure, actually.
Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I'm
sorry, I'm probably thinking about 90% of everyone in sports.
So Andre Drummond played 34 minutes. Stanley Johnson played 37. That's some high minutes there. I'm not sure. That seems a bit weird for a preseason game. But
quick, where did Stanley Johnson go to college?
Arizona?
Yes. Good job.
U of A, right?
Yep. My alma mater.
Yeah, so he looks to build his NBA career, maybe take the next step. He looks like he's a solid player. He had 14 points on 5 of 11 shooting, 3 of 7 from downtown, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists.
Well, let me ask you a question, basketball related, that is. What do you think is better? What is your personal, what do you think is better? Maybe not better, but what do you think is more interesting to watch? College basketball or professional basketball?
Well, March Madness is incredible. That's a great tournament.
That's a Super Bowl type of thing.
Yeah, I don't get terribly excited about the college basketball regular season. I do like the conference tournaments. I think those offer some excitement. But not only that, but when you look at March Madness, when you're prepping for filling out your brackets and things like that.
No, everyone's bracket just dies after the first.
But it is fun to watch the college basketball conference tournament, just because you actually are putting faces to names. You're actually seeing teams maybe get on rolls and whatnot. But I don't know if it necessarily makes my brackets any better.
The thing is, with me, is the Warriors won't lose to an 8 seed, but the number 16 seed just beat the number 1 seed last year. That's what I love about it the most. It's anything can happen.
College basketball, there's definitely it's a sport where, and I think we talked about this before, with the shorter halves where there's only 2 halves, you can go like a 10 to 12 minute stretch where you dominate, and that can take a team that should lose into a win.
Do you think if the NBA moved to 2 halves, it would be different? Just one half, one period, one half?
Probably not too much difference. Just because college basketball, I feel like the scores are so much lower, and there's more momentum swings.
Well, all right.
And the 3-ball in college is the ultimate. It's the ultimate weapon for a team that should lose can win. Like you see these mid-major teams,
Maryland, Baltimore County.
Yeah, you see these mid-major teams, and if you go 9 for 10 from 3 or something like that, and the other team can't shoot threes that night, even if it's a Duke or Kentucky, you have a good chance to win that game. Yeah. You know,
I just think of it more as more unpredictable than the NBA is. But going back to the rookies.
Yeah. So you talked about DeAndre Ayton. Mm-hmm. Well, the Phoenix Suns hosted the New Zealand Breakers.
I'm sorry, what?
New Zealand Breakers. They are not a new NBA team.
I hope not.
But they are a New Zealand basketball team.
They faced a New Zealand basketball team?
They did.
Where was it at?
Phoenix was hosting. So, New Zealand made the trip over. The Breakers made the trip. So let's talk about the player that you want to talk about, DeAndre Ayton.
How did he do in this game?
He played.
Was this televised?
So, I don't
think it was national.
No. I'll give you... Guess the stat line in 34 minutes. What do you think he did?
Over 20 points and over 10 rebounds.
Correct. On both.
All right. Okay, is it between 20 and 30 points?
Of course.
Okay, 25 points and 13 rebounds.
You're close. He had 21 points.
How many rebounds?
15 rebounds. And he had 3 assists. He was 9 for 13 from the field, so he was an efficient 21 points there. 13 shots, 21 points. He'll take it.
He can shoot anywhere on the court.
He didn't attempt any threes in this game, but maybe we'll see that. We'll see that down the road, I think, from him.
I don't think he needs to, personally.
So is this just another? I get it. They're not playing an NBA team. They're playing New Zealand Breakers. But is this another piece of evidence that DeAndre Ayton will be holding the MVP or the Rookie of the Year honor this year?
He's probably the top favorite at the moment. He has to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to continue throughout the entire season.
Do the Phoenix Suns push for a playoff berth?
Not yet.
Devin Booker?
They have a couple pieces, but not the entire puzzle.
Devin Booker, Ryan Anderson, Trevor Ariza, Josh Jackson.
I stand by what I said. You didn't have them in your top 8 either.
Tyson Chandler, Miles Bridges.
You didn't have them in your top 8 either when you were talking about this before.
Yeah, of course. But where do you have them? Do you have them in the 10, 9 to 11?
Not competing for a playoff spot.
So like 11 seed in the West to 15 somewhere?
Roughly, yeah. But we're going to take another short break, and when we come back, we will be talking about the potential MVPs.
I'll try and guess them.
Yeah, and I have them all right here, and we'll get back to you when we get back to you.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to Extreme Cage Fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. In the first two portions of the show, we talked about the Jimmy Butler trade and how that ripple effect might impact a couple different teams, both conferences, and, we'll see what happens with that as the drama continues. We also spoke about the NBA preseason. We looked at the rookies and how they did in the latest preseason action. Were they getting playing time? Were they scoring? How they were looking on their respective teams and their outlook going into this season. And now we're going to play a little game where I try and guess the potential.
You're going to try to guess the top 5 best odd makers that pick the top 5 NBA MVP candidates.
And without saying the players and the odds, does it show you the odds? Like, does it say like 10 to 1? It does show me the odds. Okay, so I want to try and guess that too.
The odds. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll go from 5 to 1. How about that?
Okay.
Who's 5?
Number 5, Russell Westbrook.
He is not in the top 5.
He's not in the top 5.
No, shockingly, I know.
Is he? Do you see on there that he on there at all?
He's number 7.
Wow.
14 to 1 odds.
Westbrook, number 7, 14 to 1.
Yeah. All right. So who's number 5? You want another guess?
Yeah. I mean, it might be a little bit tougher going from 5 to 1, but I like it.
It's more of a challenge. It's easy to guess number 1.
Number 5, let's go with Donovan Mitchell.
He doesn't. Not even close. He's 100 to 1 odds.
No way. Yeah. Really?
Thanks to Sky Bet, he's 100 to 1 odds. These are yeah.
Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, 100 to 1.
Don't you think that the Jazz...
That is a tad much, but I don't
see... Don't you think that's kind of
This is NBA MVP. Of how many superstars are in the NBA?
Let me ask you this, though. Okay. Not to derail from the topic completely, but don't you think that's kind of a good bet to take? Like, wouldn't you just throw $10 on that?
Yeah, but he's not getting there. I don't see
Okay, you're right. But what if the Utah Jazz finish in the number 2 seed and he's their best player? Could you see that happening?
It's all about popularity in the NBA.
I know, and he's he gained a lot of popularity last year. Yeah, I know he plays in Utah, so it's tough. I get it.
I still see...
Would you say it's a decent bet?
I'll put $1 in.
Well, then you could win 100.
Exactly.
Anyways,
All right, number
5.
One more chance at number 5. I'll give you 3 chances for each ranking. So one more chance.
Give me a hint. Give me a conference.
He's in the Eastern Conference. That's all I'm going to say.
Is it Kyrie Irving?
No. It is Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard is number 5.
What do you want to guess the odds?
Yes.
Go for
His
it.
odds are 11-1.
Close, 10-1.
So 10-1.
Kevin Durant is actually 11-1.
And what number is he?
He's number 6.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so
number 5 is Kawhi Leonard
at 10-1.
at 10-1.
Number 4, go for it.
Conference, please.
No. Because if I say it,
Okay.
No, that's too easy.
Steph Curry.
He's actually not in the top 5 either.
Wow. So him and Durant kind of hurt each other, it looks like, then.
Yeah.
Wow. So no Warriors in the top 5. They just water down each other probably, huh? And they rest some games and things like that. Okay. So number 4. Did I get the conference right? Did I get the West?
Yes, you got the West right. I'll say that at least. You probably have him higher up on your list, if I have to guess.
LeBron?
No. He's in the... Oh, yeah, he's in the West. Huh. I forgot.
Wait, I probably have him higher. Well, I mean...
I would say he'd be your 2.
He'd be my number 2?
Yeah. That's my guess, at least.
James Harden.
Correct. I knew it. Guess what's the odds?
8-1.
I'll give you one more chance.
9-1.
6-1.
Wow, there's a jump there between 5 and 4.
Exactly. Number 3. I'll say this is the only...
I think LeBron's going to be number 1. I'm just going to say that right now, so I can just...
What are the odds for it, too? I'll say if you get...
I don't want I won't tell the odds yet, because I want to see how the other play
LeBron James is number 1.
He is number 1. Okay, I just want to get that out of the way.
Number 3.
Number 3...
This is the last guy to be in the Eastern Conference.
The last guy to be in the Eastern Conference.
So the first 2 are going to be Western. So LeBron Western, the second guy's Western.
I understand. Okay. It's not Kyrie?
It's not Kyrie.
Is it a teammate of his?
It is not a Boston Celtic. Kyrie Irving is 20-1 odds, just letting you know.
God, I feel like that's a good bet too. Is it... Well, it's not Kawhi, because he's already been...
That's number 5, so this is number 3.
Oh, man. It's got to be somebody in Philadelphia.
Nope.
Oh, it's Giannis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Greek Freak.
Took you a little longer than I thought it would.
It is the Greek Freak. I love
What
the
is
Greek
his
Freak.
odds?
I'm going to say 5-2.
5-1.
Okay.
And number 2, I don't think you're going to get this.
You don't think I'm going to get it?
No, I don't even think this is right, but they say this is the number 2.
That this person is the number 2?
Okay, he is tied with the same odds as Giannis, I'll say that. He's also a 5-1 odd.
Is it Anthony Davis?
Yes, it is. Did you have him in your top 5 thought at all?
I mean, he's one of the top basketball players, so I figured it could be somebody. I thought I was going him or Lillard, to be honest with you, because
Lillard. Let's find Lillard. He is 60-1.
Yeah, because I figured like good player on decent team that can make some noise. That is definitely the best player of their team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
if you want to make a bet on a very on a chance at an NBA MVP luck. Carmelo Anthony is 1,000-1.
No, I'm not taking that. You can give me $1,000, and I wouldn't do that. I would put on somebody else.
Luka Doncic is actually
so LeBron. Also. We didn't talk about his odds. Don't tell me what it is. But Anthony Davis is 5-1. Greek Freak 5-1, right?
Yeah.
3-1.
No.
2-1. He's not 4-1.
It's not something to 1.
Oh, okay. It's 5-2.
9-2.
9-2.
9-2.
Okay.
Which is kind of absurd.
Yeah, it's basically 4-1. I get it. What do you think? So let's talk about it. Those are the top 5. We see Kawhi, Harden. Who's too high? Who's too low?
I think Anthony Davis is a little high.
I think so too.
Giannis is in the right place.
He's in the right place and he's in the right conference.
Yeah.
You know?
He does have a legit chance. If anyone in the East does, I think it's Giannis.
Yeah, absolutely. This could be a breakout year for him.
Kawhi is a tad high for me.
Really?
I wouldn't put him in the top 5. Top 10, sure, but not top. Not
Do you
top
think
5.
though that the switch in conference though helps because now he's going to be like on a team that can be second?
Yeah, I can
place.
see that definitely. You want to hear? Okay, give me a name that you think who should be in the top 5, and I'll tell you the odds of them.
I mean, I think that like Steph Curry or Kevin Durant should be in the top 5. Now I get it.
Curry is 16-1.
I get it. Like they hinder each other because they're both on the same team.
Okay.
But
I'm going to give you a random
on.
name, and I want you to guess what their odds are.
okay,
Karl Anthony Towns,
Karl Anthony Towns, give me 40-1.
66-1, which is actually pretty high.
Okay,
Ben Simmons, this one's going to be interesting.
25-1.
80-1.
80-1. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a team that could win the East.
Yeah.
You gotta like that.
All right, Joel Embiid. We'll go with 76er again.
So, like, in my opinion, Embiid is their best player, but he gets hurt a lot. So, it's hard to predict him because he might actually be a good bet depending on what these odds are. Because if you can get a full season out of him, I mean, the numbers he could put up can be pretty insane. I'm gonna say. So wait, what was Simmons again? 80. 80. I'll say it's worse. I don't know. I could be wrong. Really?
I'll give you that.
60.
It's not worse.
60.
20.
Wow. I mean, it makes sense because he's got the upside.
But he is injury prone. You're right on that.
It's just hard to trust him, right? Like,
yeah.
You put the money and you lay that down, and you're like, okay, this guy's definitely going to miss 30 games.
I have a percentage of the most popular bets as of right now for MVP. You want to guess the top 3 percentage of the bets?
Is it somebody that's in the top 5?
2 are in the top 5. 1 is not even close to the top 5.
I would say that Harden is probably the best bet of the top 5.
It is LeBron James.
Yeah.
With 17% of the votes.
Yeah.
Of all votes that have been tallied for MVP.
I wish I could get James at a better rate.
I'll say this. There is a guy that's 125-1, and he has a 10% bet.
DeAndre Ayton?
No.
I was thinking just a light
Not a rookie.
bottle there. 125-1.
Western Conference.
And he's one of the top bets like right now. Like a lot of people are
10% of the bets
of the
that
market.
for,
Okay.
yeah.
He's in the West.
Yeah. 125-1.
125-1. Rudy Gobert.
DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
Which I kind of get, but still, that's a lot. Joel Embiid actually has a 5.8%. The rest of the league combined is 42% of other voting everyone else.
Everybody else.
Yeah, so LeBron is still the top voting with 17%, which makes sense.
So who's not in your top? Who's not in this top 5 that you think should? Like what player? Like because I think that it should be
Russell Westbrook.
I think it should be Curry and or Durant. Like one of the two should be in the top.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook too. That's the first person I said because, I mean, he's such a large part of his team, right? Like,
yeah,
he does it all. I mean, people say he pads his stats, which is arguable, but still, the numbers are the numbers. He is up and down the court. He's exciting. People like him. He has endorsements. He's a face. He's just an NBA superstar.
Is this shocking to you? Or I'll tell you random players, and you tell me what their odds are.
Okay.
DeMarcus Cousins.
It's not going to be good. There's too many mouths to feed. I don't think he's in the top 150.
Correct. He's 250-1. Aaron Gordon.
I'd say somewhere in the same area.
Correct. 250-1. Paul George.
Give me 40-1.
250-1.
Wow.
Which is an incredible drop. Kyle Lowry.
Oh, he's not close. I'd say in the 200s.
250-1 also. Klay Thompson.
Same.
He's actually lower. He's 500-1. For funsies, Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball is 1,000 to 1.
He's actually only at 500 to 1.
No thanks.
Jimmy Butler. Let's just go on that. Jimmy Butler's odds.
Jimmy Butler is interesting. You know why? Because I think his odds skyrocket if he goes to Miami. It's like his team.
As of right now, what do you think his odds are?
As of right now? Ooh. Jimmy Butler. He's probably at... he's in the hundreds.
150 to 1.
150 to 1.
Okay, you want to see something? Chris Middleton. Where do you think he is?
Same. 200 to 1.
125 to 1. Guess who he's ahead of?
Give me a hint.
Chris Paul. There's your big hint. He's ahead of a lot of good players, but Chris Paul was a big shocker to me. Victor Oladipo.
Not that high. He's 200 to 1.
100 to 1.
He had a really good season last year.
John Wall.
100 to 1.
90.
Okay.
Did I tell you Kyrie's?
You didn't, I don't think.
What is Kyrie's, you think?
I thought he was in the top 5, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say 50 to 1.
He's 20 to 1.
Okay.
I don't see any other surprising kind of ones.
Cool. So we should take a break.
Okay. Well, but I want to say this: if you want to go with the craziest bet, Marc Gasol is 2,000 to 1. So put
2,000 to 1. There you go.
I put $5 on that.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some other NBA interesting tidbits. Maybe we will have Jeff look up some other odds and notable betting lines. We can get ready for the NBA season, which should be fun. We'll see what happens, but we'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
And welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. So we just discussed the NBA odds to win MVP for this season. We talked about the Jimmy Butler trade, and we talked about the NBA preseason with the outlook on the rookies and how they fared in last night's games. We're going to look at we're doing the Rookie of the Year odds this segment. Is that right?
Yes, we are.
All right.
We're going to do a little different, and we're not going to do 5 to 1 odds. It's going to be basically the Vegas betting plus.
Sure. Before we get into that, I want to let you know about the annual GM survey that's given out to the GMs in basketball and what they responded with. Some interesting things. So the Warriors were the overwhelming favorites to win the title, according to the GMs.
Shocker.
What do you think the percentage of the vote was from
70%.
higher?
80.
Higher.
90?
87.
87%. That's nice. That's not fair. That's not
So
fair.
who do you think were set? I'll give you a hint. The second and third tied.
Second and third are Houston and LA.
No.
Houston and Boston.
Yes. And they tied at 7% apiece.
Jesus. That's not funny.
And no one else got a vote.
No one else got a... 3 teams got a vote. That's... Why watch a sport when you know who's going to win?
Yeah.
And yet they're
last year the Warriors received 93%, so they actually went down.
But yet they're the highest. The ratings have never been higher.
Imagine getting DeMarcus Cousins added to that team and your percentage goes down. But regardless,
because of LeBron.
Most GMs expect this team to face the Warriors in the finals.
Boston.
And what do you think the percentage was for the Eastern Conference teams?
Oh, just for Eastern Conference?
Yes.
I would say 85% goes to Boston.
Higher.
87.
Higher.
90?
90.
90? Come on, get love for Toronto.
Kawhi and the
Get
Raptors.
love for Philadelphia.
Kawhi and the Raptors got 10%. The Sixers did not get in there.
How is that possible?
Who do you
they were favorites.
Who do you think the NBA GMs expected to win MVP? We talked about it, but who do you think the GMs?
LeBron?
Picked? Yeah.
90%.
No.
89%.
Way lower.
50.
Like reasonable percentages.
Okay, like 47%?
Lower.
20%.
It's 30.
Okay.
But guess who's number 2? This person is not in the top 5.
Steph Curry?
Close.
Kevin Durant?
Yes. 27%. So most GMs think that it's almost a dead heat between Durant, but you can get better odds than top 5 odds for Durant. So that might be a nice little nice play there.
It's like 14-1, so yeah, you can get some good money out of that.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go to Rookie of the Year now.
Let's do it.
Who is your guess for number 5? We'll go do the same thing again. This is as of September 26th, 2018.
Number 5, Trae Young.
No. I don't think you're going to get it. You might.
Kevin Knox?
Yes. Plus 750.
Kevin Knox plus.
Oops, I
7.
read that wrong. I'm sorry. That's number 4.
Okay. So he's number 4.
So number 5 is plus 1,000, I'll say.
Okay. It's not Trae Young.
No. He's a plus 1,100.
It's not Marvin Bagley.
It is Marvin Bagley.
Is it?
Plus 1,000, Marvin Bagley.
I hope, but I don't think.
I mean, number 2 overall pick is always a possibility.
Yeah, he just doesn't look.
Number 3, since we said Kevin Knox is number 4. Number 3.
Jaren Jackson.
He is not in the top 5.
Are you kidding me?
He is plus 1,200.
He's a better bet than Bagley.
Well, not to Vegas.
I'm better than Vegas, so.
No, you're not.
I'm telling you right now that Jaren Jackson Jr. will have a better season than Marvin Bagley.
Somebody else.
Number 3?
Yes.
Gosh. Did we talk about him in the earlier segment?
We did not. Wait. If we did, it was very, very brief.
Oh. I'm not sure. This one's in it. I don't think it's Doncic or Ayton at number 3.
It is not.
And it's not Trae Young.
It's not.
And it's Kevin Knox already been said. Marvin Bagley. Is it Bridges?
No, Bridges.
One of them.
Let me try to find Bridges. Is plus 4,500.
Which one? Michael or Miles?
Michael. Were you thinking about Miles?
I was just trying to get a 2 for 1 right there.
Oh. Miles is 4,000.
I don't know who's number 3. Go ahead and give it to me. Don't tell me that.
Colin Sexton.
Really? That's interesting. Okay.
What is his plus?
600.
700. And number 2.
I think it's Ayton.
It is. What's the number?
Plus 300.
Close.
250?
Higher.
350.
Yes.
Okay. And then Luka Doncic is number 1, and I think that he is going to be plus 300.
A little bit higher.
325? 350? He's not the same.
You're closer with 325.
315, 310.
333.
Well, that's an interesting number.
Yeah. And because Harry Giles did not play last year.
You mean Harry Giles?
Same thing. Who cares? He's probably not going to win, but he's at plus 2,500. Which
I think
really
Harry
high.
Giles is a really good bet. Actually, he's a better bet than Marvin Bagley.
I just think he's actually 2,500 for coming off this whole injury.
and he's not a rookie, quote unquote. Like
Well, no, he's still eligible for rookie of the year.
Sure, but I
Blake
mean,
Griffin won rookie of the year after that 1 year he wasn't
yeah,
playing.
and Simmons. But I mean, what I'm saying is that it gives him an advantage.
Okay. Where do you see Grayson Allen?
Not close.
Plus 9,000.
He's not going to win.
What team did he get drafted to? I don't remember.
Grayson Allen?
Yeah.
From Duke?
He's a dirty player. He got drafted late, I know.
Let's play a game.
You don't know either, do you?
Let's play a game. Who drafted Grayson Allen?
I'm gonna guess the East Coast team.
It actually makes perfect sense. He drafted Grayson Allen.
Is it a team with another rookie on it? like a potential rookie of the year? No. Miami? Is it East Coast or East Western?
It's a Western Conference.
What's the Western Conference? Is it Utah?
You'll get to see him opening night in Sacramento.
No way.
It's Utah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying he's playing for Sacramento Kings. I'm like, I think we live in Northern California. We would have known that. Okay, Utah makes more sense.
Yes. Grayson Allen is not relevant in this conversation.
But I just saw his number and I laughed. How about Michael Porter Jr.? What do you think his odds are?
I mean, isn't he out? Like,
he still has some odds here.
Yeah, but he's not.
10 seconds.
What are his odds?
Yeah.
Plus 5,000.
2,200. That's actually kind of high.
Yeah.
Wendell Carter Jr., what do you think his are?
I think it's pretty good. I'd say he's in the top 10. 2001.
1,100.
Okay. What is he, number 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 8.
Okay. Okay, so then...
No, he's 7.
Because Bagley was 5 at 1,000. Okay, so Wendell
They have
Carter...
this out of order for some reason.
So Wendell Carter...
Who do you think should be a dark horse?
I mean, Harry Giles is my dark horse for sure. If you can get odds like that on a guy who... Remember, before he got injured in high school and in college, he was the number one player in the nation.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy,
Harry
he's
Giles
got a
was actually
chance.
plus 4,000 a week, the month before, and now going next month.
And the Kings are a team that they're going to play their young players.
He might be starting.
I think he will start. Maybe not initially, but eventually he'll be the starter this year. He'll get 30
Luka
minutes.
Doncic has been the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year since August 6th. July 9th, sorry.
I think Ayton is a safer pick between the two.
On July 9th, he was plus 275. Marvin Bagley was plus 600.
I think if you're going to bet on Ayton, you should do it now because I think those odds are going to get worse.
Well,
does that make sense?
We'll keep an eye on the rookies, but that is all we have time for today. We've talked a lot about betting and
we've
MVP.
talked a lot.
Yeah, and we will see you for the basketball podcast next Tuesday. But until then, goodbye and have a good day.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.